Hello everyone and welcome to my vlog. I'm so happy to be here today. I have not recorded in a while, so I've been kind of like crazy busy and maybe a little bit lazy, but this is so interesting to me that every time for some reason I'm unable to record, or I make the decision to just take time off, or whatever it is, maybe something is in my way and there's something I have to get to, or my camera is not functioning, or some kind of hindrance to me being on the vlog. It's so interesting to me that at that moment that somebody out there would just come to me and say things like, we see what you're doing, keep it up, you're doing a great job, you're touching lives and stuff like that. So I know for a fact this is something I'm meant to be doing. This is something I have to be doing. This is something that is much needed. So this is something that I cannot give up on no matter what. But there are some times I like to get in the way for whatever reason and I'm unable to be here. But this is something I have committed myself to. I have committed myself to doing this vlog about relationships, and as much as God is giving me the grace, I will continue to do this and even take this further, maybe to TV one day, because I think this is a very relevant platform to discourse some really important topics regarding relationships, which affects all of our lives. I mean, I said that before, relationship can make or break you. It can destroy your whole life. It can do a whole lot to a person. So it is just a very important, vital aspect of each and every one of our lives. Whether you're in a relationship right now, whether you are not, whether you're single, whether you're divorced, whatever the case may be, relationship affects each and every one of our lives somehow. So I think it is very crucial to talk about some of these things. And my topic for today is the stigmatization of singleness. The stigmatization of singleness. This is something very close to my heart as a young woman in the world. I believe women more than men face stigma when it comes to getting married, and when you're getting to a certain age, let's just say 30, women get a whole lot of pressure to get married. That's all you ever hear about, coming from the society, coming from your peers, coming from your parents, coming from your loved ones. Everything is just about marriage. Let's just say you're done with school, you got a job or a career, and it's just like, what's next? That's the question. What is next? Just get married. Just get married. Just get married, regardless of whether you're ready or not, because age is not necessarily maturity, and age does not necessarily mean you're ready for that commitment and responsibility that marriage is. But nobody cares about that. All they're just thinking is get married. Like, we are wired, and that's the way we're wired. That's the way the society is basically wired. Everything is about marriage, and there is this stigma attached to single women of a certain age. I'm just gonna say 30. Let's just use 30 as that threshold. When you get to that 30 mark, the pressure just like increases. It increases. You face it when you're a younger woman as well. If you're, as I said, you're done with school, you have a job, you have a career, whatever, the pressure comes as well. But when you get to that age, the pressure like increases. It accelerates. And one of the reasons is, people say biological clock, that when a woman is getting older, it becomes more difficult to conceive. So it's better to do it when you're younger, and the older you get, the lesser the chances are of you finding a man, because we have more women on earth than we have men on earth. And people don't care that if you found the right person or if you're ready or whatever. There's just this like pressure, like this huge amount of pressure. And what this pressure will end up doing is making people fall into the hands of the wrong people. Because when you're pressured into doing something, you're not really thinking clearly. You just want to rush. You just want to get married to satisfy these people, to take the pressure off. So people are not like, hey, you're still single at this age or whatever. So you're not thinking clearly. And instead of making the decision with very, very critical eyes, with all your senses intact, you're just like rushing things. And then you end up falling into the hands of the wrong person, or somebody who is good but may not be the right person for you. And then down the line, we see divorces, we see broken homes, we see this relationship coming to an end, and we're like, what is going on? And not realizing pressure have led a lot of people to this. So imagine if we remove the stigma attached to singleness, less people would get married. That is the truth. A good percent of people that get married, I can bet, is because of the pressure. I have not done statistic on this. I've not looked this up, and I really should have. But I bet a good percent of people that get married is because of the pressure. If the pressure was not there, if the stigma was not there, more people will stay single, because marriage is a responsibility, and marriage is like a prison. Let's be honest with ourselves. There is so much that you can do when you're single that you can't do as a married person. When you're single, you can decide to take a trip and travel the world, or do whatever, or date around or sleep around or whatever. Yeah, it's your life. You can do whatever. You take a course anytime you like, take this class, do whatever. But when you're a married person, every decision you make has to be like a partnership decision. Everything has to be in relations to your spouse. You cannot make decision on your own. You have to factor your spouse into every decision making. You have to think about your spouse, and if children are involved, you have to think about your children. You do not live for yourself alone anymore. So marriage is really a responsibility, and the truth is some of us are just not ready, and it's not a function of age. You can see a 21-year-old that is ready to get married. She's already like, I know what this is all about, and I am ready to commit myself to it. So it's not really a function of age. And somebody may be 30 years or older and is like, really, I'm not really ready for this at all. So I guess my message is, take away the stigma, or take away the pressure. There is nothing wrong in being single. Singleness is not a crime. Not everybody is going to get married. That is just the truth. Not everybody is designed for marriage. And some people are better off not being married. That's a fact. Some people are better off not being married. And then we pressure these people into marriage, and they end up messing up a whole lot of stuff. They end up messing up the life of their partners, and because everything is kind of like interrelated. So it's not just about you. Like every bad decision you make sometimes, or every mistake you make, it doesn't affect you alone, it affects other people. So it's not, so because everyone is kind of like interconnected, so it's not really just about you. So I guess my message is really just take away the stigma, take away the pressure. It's not a crime to be single. Marriage is a serious business. It's something you have to do very carefully. And I've said this before. I cannot say this, like, I cannot oversay this. Marriage is something you have to do very carefully, very prayerfully. You have to be really watchful, because there are a lot of bad folks out there, and sometimes you may have very good intentions and you want the best for your life, but there might be somebody out there that is just not as honest and good as you are. So you have to be careful, you have to be prayerful, because a relationship is as good as the two people involved. I've said this before. It's not about you being good alone and you got it together and everything is on point and on deck, like you got everything secured and all of that. It's not about you alone. Your partner has to be the same way, because if you bring one person that is old, that is good, that is sound, that is everything, and then you bring the other person that is kind of like a mess, it's not going to match. It's going to be a mess at the end of the day. yeah, that's the way it's going to be. You're not going to have the kind of marriage that you want, because it's not about you being the strong one alone. If the other person is weak, it's not going to make for a very like good relationship. They're going to be, even with the strongest of people, even with the most compatible people, there are still a lot of issues. So not to talk of when people are like really basically incompatible, have all of these flaws and baggages, you're going to have to work through a lot more. So it's better for you to be a good, strong individual on your own and have your spouse be the same way. And when you two come together, you're going to make magic and you're going to create something really beautiful and wonderful out of your marriage. But it takes a lot of work still. It takes a lot of work. It's a lot of process. It's not a bed of roses. But it is very, very important that you choose the right person to go through this journey with you, which is why you have to be very careful, very diligent, very, very prayerful, extremely important. So I just want to say, give people space to breathe, give people space to make their decision. Take away the stigma of singleness. It's okay to be single. Not everybody is going to get married. There is no rule or law that says you shall get married. Yes, for Christians, the Bible did say be fruitful and multiply, but then there are some women who cannot give birth. So hey, and then there are a lot of children in the world as well. So you can adopt, you can choose to adopt. That's one route to go. For couples who cannot have children, they can choose to adopt, because there are a lot of children in the world that needs help. There are a lot of children in the world that needs good parent. So just take away the stigma. Being single is not a crime. Stop pressuring people into marriage when they're not ready, because all that would happen is you see them coming out of that marriage. So, and if you're listening to me, don't be pressured into getting married, because you just end up coming out of it, and when something goes wrong, you'll be responsible for it. The very people that pressured you, they are the very people that will start talking bad about you. They are the very people that will start pulling you down. But even though they are the one that pressured you into getting married, they will still be the same people to castigate you. So don't make any decision because of pressure or because of stigma. Live your life, be happy, and be absolutely sure that this is what you want to do when you want to get married. Don't let age pressure you. And if you know that at some point I really do want to settle down and get married, then don't waste time. There is timing for everything. Make a while the sun shine. Don't waste your youth in like lavish, like vain living and promiscuity, and then when you get older you decide, now I'm just gonna attach myself to a woman, or I'm just gonna attach myself to a man, and then I'm gonna settle down, when you have really messed up your life when you were younger. So live as much as you can. Try to live a decent, virtuous life, and I pray for you that you will end up with a good person, someone that is sincere at art, and someone that has your best interest at art and is not out to deceive you or mess you up or whatever. So that is my message for today. Thank you for watching. I have no quotes and I have no questions because I've not recorded in a while, so I have no questions. And I will see you again next week, and enjoy the rest of your week, everyone. Bye.